Okay, so there's perhaps no event in the history of modern professional wrestling as iconic, as infamous, and as unforgettable as the Montreal Screwjob. On November the 9th, 1997, that's 21 years today exactly, provided the video goes out when it's supposed to, referee Earl Hebner called for the bell in the main event of Survivor Series, ruling in HBK's favour, despite champion Bret Hart not actually submitting. It sends shockwaves through the wrestling world that are still being felt today. Over 2 decades later, the Screwjob remains one of the most talked about and intriguing aspects of WWE lore, so it goes without saying that there's room to adapt it into this brilliant feature film, but for some reason, nobody's bothered to do that yet. But when they see who I want to cast in it, I think they just might. Am I a visionary? It's not for me to say, but yes. My name is Adam Cleary, and this is how I would cast the Montreal Screwjob movie. Number 11, Bill Hader, Jim Cornette. If we take Jim Cornette at his word, then he inadvertently suggested the idea of the Screwjob to Vince McMahon, but that is, as I say, yes, if you take Jim Cornette at his word. As Bret was apparently willing to drop the belt to anybody but Michaels, Cornette pitched the idea to Vince McMahon of Ken Shamrock double-crossing him, and this apparently gave Vince the big light bulb moment for the Screwjob. If he's in the film, then you want Bill Hader to play him because the guy can do really over the top and also incredibly agitated. And how else would you describe Jim Cornette? Plus, he does look a bit... I'm just going to address these now because we've done photoshops of every single casting in this, and some of them are very good, some of them are a bit scary, so just get used to that. Number 10, Hugh Jackman, Vince McMahon. Now, obviously, if you're casting Vince McMahon in any movie, you're going to want to get Mel Gibson. He is his goddamn spirit animal, but the 52-year-old McMahon in this film has to be more dapper, more conniving, more Machiavellian. Who better then than Hugh Jackman? We already know he can fill out a suit, and he's got previous for playing enterprising businessman with a lack of morals / complete bastard. Plus, tell me you don't want to hear his version of McMahon's voice. Number 9, Margot Robbie, Sunny. Bit of a stretch this one, as Sunny didn't actually have anything to do with the entire Screwjob, but no doubt we'd have to Hollywood this thing up a bit to get it to make some goddamn bank, so giving the former Playboy model a bit more screen time than she's maybe due is probably to be expected. Regardless though, at the time, Sunny was allegedly doing the horizontal greased weasel tango with both Bret and HBK, so there's definitely some kind of love triangle subplot we could get in there. Not dissimilar to how Robbie played her role in I, Tonya. She's got the range, she's got the accent, she's got the star power, she is in. Number 8, Clark Gregg, Earl Hebner. Senior official Earl Hebner's exact involvement in the Screwjob is still being contested to this day. Bret Hart says that he swore on his children's lives nothing fishy was going to happen, whereas Hebner himself says he was only informed about the finish mere minutes before they got into the ring. Someone's lying. Greg Clark of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fame then is absolutely perfect for this. Yes, he's a little bit older than Hebner was at the time, but he does that whole understated yet animated yet subdued thing really well. Plus, the man is a master of swapping between tones, which I imagine this film would have. Number 7, Neil Maskell, Davey Boy Smith. Bulldog is easily the hardest person to cast in this entire film, so much so that the original version of this article actually had Paddy McGuinness in the role. Hey, by gum, Bret, you've not even tapped. No larky, no larty, way. But don't worry, Boy Genius here has predictably solved the entire problem with British acting icon Neil Maskell. Now, I appreciate most of our American audience might not have heard of him. He has been in a lot of low-key British bangers, and he's just... look at him. He can do intense, he can do absolutely manic, he can do a range of accents, and yes, I grant you, he would have to bulk up significantly, but he's that kind of really good actor that I could imagine putting the hours in. Number 6, Channing Tatum, Owen Hart. Though your first reaction may be to groan at this pick, firstly, f*** off, but secondly, actually think about it for a minute. Tatum is a natural joker, he's naturally athletic, and he has blinding on-screen chemistry with Adam Driver, so much so they've already played on-screen brothers, and I've realised now that's a slight spoiler for the end of this video. The whole I can't take Channing Tatum seriously because of Magic Mike thing died absolutely years ago, so it's very easy to imagine him bringing a load of compassion to one of the most beloved figures in all of professional wrestling. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Number 5, Jamie Presley, Julie Hart. Bret's wife, Julie Hart, is best remembered by most wrestling fans for chewing out Triple H near to death in the immediate aftermath of the Screwjob, as seen in the brilliant documentary Wrestling with Shadows. Look, there she is doing that. What an absolute G. Now, this would be a small role in the film, admittedly, given a whole actual connection to the Screwjob, but given its impact on both Bret's life and future career, her scenes need to pack a real punch. You somehow need to be able to convey years and years of future pain in just a few minutes of screen time. Unfortunately, Jaime Pressly not only looks like Julie Hart, but she's really, really, really good at shouting. Look, there she is doing that. What an absolute G. Number 4, Michael Shannon, Jim Neidhart. Tricky one this, as the late great The Anvil not only has a uniquely stocky physique, but also a uniquely intense personality, and sadly there aren't many of them around anymore. They don't make them like they used to, etc. However, Michael Shannon's penchant for really fiery performances that just sort of explode out of nowhere mean, in my correct opinion, he could perfectly embody the spirit of the man. We might have to take some slight liberties with the aforementioned bulky frame, but I reckon Shannon could get hench, if you just, was it stakes and weights or whatever they say? That, yeah, you can do it. Why not? Number 3, Sam Worthington, Triple H. Triple H was absolute ground zero for the Montreal Screwjob. He escorted Shawn to the ring, he got him out immediately afterwards, and depending on who you believe, he actually came up with the idea. Again, depending on who you believe. Now, yes, a lot of people have said they'd like to see Chris Hemsworth play Triple H at some point, but a far more realistic / better prospect is Sam Worthington. Yes, him from Avatar. Now, I can already hear you shouting down the camera lens that he's 20 years too old for the part, but come on! Seriously, you know he's 42, do you? By looking at him. You don't even know I'm 31. Yes. Plus, look at this picture of him with the hair. He's just Triple H without the absurd trap muscles and pantomime nose. Get him cast. Number 2, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Shawn Michaels. It's going to take a very specific type of cinematic douchebag to pull off HBK, because at the time, he was apparently this force of nature in wrestling that absolutely nobody has a good word to say about. Everybody hated him, basically. But given his absolute slew of performances as smug cockends, Aaron Taylor Johnson might just be the only man for the job. His roles in Savages and Nocturnal Animals say he's very suitable for the part. Plus, he was in Age of Ultron and Kick-Ass, so we know he can get into athletic, wiry shape. Admittedly, out of every single person on this list, he's maybe the one who bears the least physical resemblance to the part he's playing, but that's what makeup departments and costumes are for, isn't it? Number 1, Adam Driver, Bret Hart. And now here we are, the casting choice that would make or break the entire Bret the Hitman Hart Montreal Screwjob movie, Bret the Hitman Hart. Given the major emotional turmoil both before, during, and after the event for Bret Hart, the part needs somebody with just incredible range. They need to be able to do this intense, palpable rage, but at the same time a smouldering, sort of under the surface anger and worry and sadness and just everything. And who really could be a better fit for this than Adam Driver? The guy has a very similar facial structure to Bret Hart. His shirtless scene in Star Wars shows that he can get into shape. I've just remembered those nipples, Jesus goddamn Christ. And he's very good at playing things subtle while hinting at far more going on behind the eyes. Also, and this is very important for the role, he is handsome and likable, just like me, but not too extroverted or animated, admittedly not even slightly like me. It's very easy to imagine him in the glasses and filling out Hart's attire. So yes, I'm glad we're all agreed. Let's get this made next week. So there you have it, casting genius Adam Cleary and every single person you would put in his vision of the Montreal Screwjob movie. Yours, Hollywood. You can take it from me for a cool $10.5 million. Pounds, that's my price. But of course, let me know who you would cast in your vastly inferior version of the movie by leaving a comment below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter because I'm a legend, and follow WhatCulture on Twitter here as well. In the meantime, though, thank you very much for watching. I have, of course, been Adam Cleary, and happy Screwjob Day! Has it really been a year already? Yes, it has. Bye.